It is 9:47 on December 30th, 2021, and I bet a lot of you guys are wondering what the heck is going on with Jade Protocol. Jade Protocol, if you haven't been paying attention, has been on a steady tumble since December 10th. Uh, as an early investor, I got in when it was about $600, and so I've been riding it this whole time. It's been a bit of an emotional journey. But so it's been on a steady tumble since for almost two thirds of a month, and about a week ago, like a week before Christmas, they dropped the APY down from something million, like the tens of millions, down to the tens of thousands, and everybody was scratching their heads about that, and then we had a whole bunch of fudders come into the Discord, and it's just been nothing but fudders ever since. And then what was it? 3 days after Christmas, they dropped the APY down to zero. So there's absolutely no rebasing happening right now. Um, but all of this fudding going on in the Discord and and on Twitter, and the price on tumbling. If you look at today's chart, it's spiking. So what the heck is going on? I think it's a bunch of things. Well, actually, I shouldn't say a bunch. I think it's two primary things. I think number one, it's becoming obvious that the Jade Protocol team itself was deliberately driving the price down. That's becoming really apparent with Einstein on Discord basically encouraging the FUD, and right there. And then the sort of Jade veterans, if you will, like joining in on the fun. So that's a big part of it. I think it's becoming obvious that they're in favor of driving the price down. That I believe that this is all in anticipation for tomorrow's announcement from the team. We're supposed to get a big announcement tomorrow. There's been a lot of speculation as to what the announcement is about. I have a couple of ideas, and we got some minor suggestions as to what the announcement should be about. But I think the announcement is going to be about two things. One is the concept of the rising floor that was kind of teased to us in a couple of clips, screenshots. The rising floor would obviously be similar to the concept of a backed price that we've been seeing in the other Olympus DAO forked projects that Jade Protocol removed way back. That we all had the misconception that the DAOs were backed by a solid price, that it wouldn't dip below. I thought it was 170 for weeks, and then when it pummeled below 170, I was left in shock as much as probably everyone else that kind of believed that. So the rising floor, I think, is a concept that they hopefully have figured out. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm gonna wait for the anticipation for the announcement tomorrow and see what they have to say about that. The other thing, the most important thing I think that they're going to introduce tomorrow is their roadmap to their launch on Avalanche. So if you don't know, they're launching on Avalanche. So they're not leaving Binance Smart Chain. If you don't know, they're just opening themselves up to the Avalanche network as well, which will obviously increase the number of potential users tremendously. So I think that that's going to be huge, but I think that their roadmap is going to be part of the announcement tomorrow, like part of the documentation release tomorrow. So I think that's part of it. The thing about going back to the rising floor, whatever they set the rising floor to, the price will immediately jump to that. If the rising floor is initiated like tomorrow, let's say it's initiated $100, then it'll immediately jump from whatever the price is right now, which is $32 up to $100. By the way, it's increased 80% in the last 24 hours, which is crazy. Um, and then and then the rising floor they're suggesting from the teased screenshots is that it would increase from there. So that would be good. And the roadmap to the Avalanche launch, I think that this is why they're trying to drive the price down with this FUD campaign, and as well as like dropping the APY initially from tens of millions down to tens of thousands, and then down to zero. And then there was a little scuttlebutt happening on Twitter between Einstein and a few other people, and I think that that's I think this is all a giant marketing campaign in order to drive the price down. Why would they want the price to be dropped down? I think it's in anticipation of the Avalanche launch. I think the idea that they want is to get the price as low as possible in order to buy up a good portion, not a good portion, but a sizable portion of the Jade token on the Binance Smart Chain in order to reduce the amount of tokens in circulation. And when they launch on the Avalanche, that it won't it won't like double the amount of tokens in circulation, and therefore creating inflation and decreasing the price. So I think that's the idea of the FUD campaign, and the driving the price down on purpose is to purchase for the Treasury to purchase a bunch of the tokens in circulation on the Binance Smart Chain. As soon as the Treasury buys that up, that's going to drive the price up. So that I think that could be what's happening here, is maybe the Treasury is starting to buy up tokens, or more like, I actually don't think that would happen until after the announcement, probably on the 1st of January or later. But I think that this might actually just be like regular users anticipating the announcement tomorrow. So I think that that's part of it, is trying to make room on the and Jade for the tokens to be launched on Avalanche. But I think also that I think when they launch on Avalanche, they'll set the price of the Avalanche Jade higher than whatever it is on Binance Smart Chain, which will create an arbitrage event, which will drive the price up of Jade on the Binance Smart Chain even higher. So I'm anticipating this to go pretty high. I don't have no idea how high. Would be purely guessing, so I don't want to do that. But that's what I think is going to happen. And this is my first video, by the way, so I don't have a lot of visuals. That's why I kind of chose this pretty screensaver for you. By the way, where I'm at, we don't have snow yet. Got a light dusting on Christmas Eve morning, but nothing to... We certainly didn't have a white Christmas, but that's okay. We have a screensaver. And then, what else did I want to say? As far as post announcements, so we're talking over the weekend. I'm optimistic that they'll bring rebasing back. So I believe this APY will go back up to a reasonable competitive level. They want to be able to compete with the other DAOs, right? And the other DAOs, like Honey, for example, is like in the tens of millions. I can show you that. Honey is right now at 14 million. So I mean, they have to compete with these other DAOs that are performing just as well as Jade was, in the early days. So they need to. I'm expecting this APY to go back up to a competitive level, and I do expect that the price will continue to rise over the weekend, again because of the Treasury will be buying up Jade on the Binance Smart Chain. They were trying to drive it as low as possible. It looks like 17. Low 17 is like the lowest it got. So Einstein was trying to drive down to 10, but it looks like 17 was the lowest. And then here we started with these users. Like I said, I believe these users are what's causing this spike. But yeah, I think that with the announcement tomorrow, it'll go up even further. If they introduce the rising floor, that will immediately drive the price up to whatever the rising floor is set at, and then initially, and then drive up further from there, and then whenever they introduce Jade over on the Avalanche network, that will drive the price up even further with the initial arbitrage event, and then obviously opening up the token to a wider user base is gonna drive the price even further. So those are my predictions, and I'm sticking to them. So I'll make a follow-up video after the announcement tomorrow and see if I was right in any of these predictions. All right, take care.